So we're going to try this again, see what happens. Okay, it shows that I'm on. So let's chat today. So if you like the segment of LinkedIn Perspective, share it, like it, tag it. More or less, we're going to be able to see if I can see myself here. And don't understand why this is happening, you know? But we're going to see how we're going to be able to see. Seriously? Okay. You guys can see me. That's good. I'm moving. So we're going to continue to do this chat. So as I stated in the beginning of the first podcast, I wanted to be able to talk about mental health and how mental health especially is affecting us today. I apologize for the, thank you, what was going on here before, but we got characters going on. But I want to be able to reach out to everyone and share about, certain things about uh, mental health, your wellness, workplace, the toxic workplace, how it affects you. It could be just not just the workplace, but it could be in school or whatever environment. So thank you, Susan. Thank you, Betty. Thank you, Faye. Awesome. I can see you guys. I apologize. That's out of my control. Go. So we're going to continue talking about, mental health, man. Let's talk about that. As you all well know, I suffer from combat PTSD and CPTSD, but I want to talk about toxic workplaces, right? I've had a couple of people that have been exposed for quite some time, and then the biggest thing I want to be able to share and collaborate with you is that we're going through the holidays right now, right? I'll sit back for a little bit. Now my boys are somewhere around there, and I wanted to use them as a prop, but I wanted to explain to you how your peace of mind, your well-being, and your spirit is more or less pretty much damaged or taught because of toxic workplaces, right? We all have that. And then the biggest thing that I want to be able to share with you is that even though we're on LinkedIn, right, I see more of a strong content on TikTok, and I've learned a lot about people on TikTok. I'm not a TikTok fan, but I've seen people as more or less. How are you? How you doing? I see people more or less providing great content, right? So at the same time, I'm learning to be able to bring great content here to LinkedIn. And if you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective, share it, like it, tag it. And I just want to be able to do that, to be able to reach out to you and collaborate. And I'm glad I'm starting to see people in there. I've had my share of toxic workplace, not in law enforcement, but in regular businesses. Yes, we have that. And Mariela, it's good to see you again. If you like this segment, share it, like it, tag it, make some comments. This is a virtual town hall for you to be able to collaborate. You're not going to be in a cancel culture whatsoever, because LinkedIn has been able to provide me with the opportunity to be able to do this live broadcast podcast and on Facebook. And then if you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective, subscribe to the YouTube channel, LinkedIn Perspective. That is my channel. I'm being active again. And the biggest thing that I want to be able to reach out to you is that as your friend, as somebody that collaborates, sometimes a lot of people suffer from silence, right? And if people suffer from silence, it's time for people to understand that they're not alone. You should not be embarrassed about things that are happening in your personal life. Things are being challenged. Sometimes people's stress level of threshold is different from others. And then the other thing is not how you react to stress, it's how you respond to stress. And I can honestly tell you that for myself, right, and for disabled veterans, we respond to stress differently. And I think that this is the type of voice that needs to be shared with different people, because I'm sure that everybody is suffering from silence in some form or fashion. And I believe that we have an opportunity to collaborate and use this virtual town hall to be able to express the concerns of how toxicity exists in the workplace, especially when it comes to today's inflation of 9.9%. We just came out of the pandemic 3 years ago, right? The cost of gas, the housing market, people being evicted. There's no sense of humanity. There's no sense of compassion. But I want to be able to share that with you as well, right? So for a lot of people, if you haven't noticed, and as I stated in the last show, and I'm going to state it again, we have 3 stages of people that are happening in our community since the pandemic. So the biggest thing is that you have oversensitive individuals, right? That since the pandemic, they've been able to demonstrate their high oversensitive demeanor. And on the other side of the spectrum, you have highly aggressive people that really don't care about how you feel. They just want to prove their point. They're very disrespectful. And in the middle, both of them have something in common, which they both have what we call self-entitlement. So when we talk about self-entitlement, we're talking about that you're entitled to everything. You're not entitled to nothing. And then I can honestly tell you that we need to understand that we are all human beings. We all have challenges. It's okay to seek therapy. It's okay to seek clinical help. It's okay to more or less find a different solution and not come up with, no, find a different solution instead of finding a permanent solution to your problems, from a temporary problem for a permanent solution, which is considered suicide or drug and alcohol or some kind of fashion. You know that a lot of people are alone during the holiday seasons, right? And then during the holiday seasons, people start withdrawing. They wish they could have somebody on their side to be able to share and collaborate. They want a sympathetic ear. They want to be able, and some people are spiritually lost, right? And I'm not preaching Christianity, but I'll share this with you, right? With me, with my situation, I had a severe nightmare a couple nights ago. It was pretty bad. I don't think I've had a nightmare like that in quite some time. And then this has nothing to do with work related. This is just talking about the ongoing diagnosis and the trauma that I've sustained since I was a kid in the military, and then triggers that have happened, throughout my life. So in the middle of the night when I woke up, right, I was hyperventilating. I was, trying to gasp for air, and I noticed that, these nightmares are for real. So when people are having nightmares, they don't know what it is. It could be something dormant. But I made a promise to the man upstairs, to God, that given the opportunity that when my lifespan ends, that I want to go to heaven, right? Now, I'm not preaching. I'm just saying for me, I want to go to heaven because I believe that there's only one direction in life when you're a Christian, is to go up. You can't be a fundamental Christian and assassinate people at the same time. You can't be a Christian and talk bad about other people as well. It doesn't work that way. You can't be a Christian and decide to be two-faced and destroy their livelihood. Those are the things that I want to address. So my philosophy today is a couple of things. During this Saturday night while I'm home with my family, my boys, while my wife is working, I want to be able to reach out to you and collaborate and just share a couple of things that don't suffer in silence. If you want to reach out, you need somebody to collaborate, fine. Like I stated in my previous show, I have a couple. They're in the East Coast. The husband is in active duty. He suffered TBI. He suffered COVID. He has a broken, back, in a sense, fibula in the back. And, he's going through some changes, and the military is going to kick him out. So my whole thing to you, right, as a veteran, the biggest backstory that people don't see, and if you haven't paid attention to what I'm talking about, read this book, A Few Bad Men. This is a true story of the Marine Corps being eaten eating our own and mistreating our veterans for what's going on. True story. It's a true story of how cancel culture exists in the military in all branches as well. And people need to understand that thank you for your service doesn't mean crap. And don't be surprised that other veterans treat and mistreat other veterans just because they can think they have superiority complex or they can lead or they're a commanding officer or they outrank you. So if you want to really understand what I'm talking about, go get this book. It's on Amazon from my great friend, Major Fred Galvin, who was a special operations officer in the 1st Recon, 4th Recon, and Mossack 7 for his career. Went through a whole lot of changes, but he pulled out the cancel culture, and there's a lot of things that are going on to it. What's my point? Mental health, right? How can you win back your integrity? How can you win back your credibility? You know, and speaking the truth with love and not conceding and not accommodation talk. I appreciate it, brother. And I feel that we need to be able to discuss this because as many people are applying through jobs and everything else, there's a big thing that still exists that nobody wants to address, which is I call the elephant in the room, is toxic workplaces, right? Toxic cultures. How did they mistreat people? You know, what happened to people being civil or standing up for their rights? And then if they stand up for their rights, they get crucified. So think about this way. Christ got crucified for just preaching. All his disciples got crucified because they followed the word. You notice that a lot of people don't pay attention to those things. But what's my point? I'm preaching to something that's very near and dear to my heart. And sometimes you got to stand alone to be able to express your concerns and ensure that other people understand that they're not suffering in silence. And then the biggest thing that I can honestly say is this. While you're alone, your mind is constantly going a million miles a minute. There's no other short-term remedy for going through depression, anxiety, sleep deprivation, drug addiction, alcoholism. A lot of disabled vets happen that way, and that's why a lot of veterans in the veteran community are having a hard time adjusting to civilian life and in the workplace because of a toxic work environment. But some people don't want to take responsibility or accountability. It's a narcissistic viewpoint of pointing the finger and gaslighting people to a point where they think it's not them, it's you. That you're woke, weak-minded. Everybody has a soul. Everybody has feelings. What I'm stating is facts and feelings have nothing to do with it, but the facts are this: mental illness and your mental health is at an all-time high when it comes to toxic workplaces. People go to work to provide a livelihood. I stated that once, and I'm going to state it again. Being at work, you can create relationships. And the other thing that I can honestly say is being at work is work. They're not your friends. People have hidden agendas. People have some underlying issues. But you got to be able to understand with so many labor lawyers that are providing, some kind of justice for people that are being mistreated. The biggest thing people don't want to address in this professional platform is mental health and mental illness, mental health, and well-being. Stress kills. It does. And stress kills for a lot of things. You can be walking around and you're still stressed out. You can even suffer a heart attack and you're gone. What have you accomplished? Nothing. But what I can honestly tell you is that you are a prime example or the leader of your immediate family. Everybody depends on you to be successful. You are a role model for your children, your husband, your wife, your brothers and sisters, your mothers and fathers. grandfathers, grandmothers, aunts, uncles, cousins. All those are significant people in your life. Sometimes you develop a family member that's not bloodline. And I think that those are the type of people that you need to seek counsel when you're going through changes, because what other people think about you is none of your business. It's not. And at the same time, what people say about you, you shouldn't give them any credit, because if they're lacking the credibility and they're lacking the character, why do you validate what they say? It doesn't really mean anything to what they're doing. All they're doing is lashing out at you or attacking you. Some people just don't like other people. Pretty much. Some people just don't like other people. I have a friend of mine that he works at the VA, right? And he was in a work situation, and I'm not going to mention his name, I won't, but he's a Marine, and been working there. And all of a sudden, somebody accused him of stealing a phone, and the VAPD came with the person and did a citizen's arrest. So the guy got unjustly arrested, and now his credibility is destroyed. So what does that do for a person's well-being? That's what you call a cancel culture toxicity approach, with no remorse or whatsoever. Same thing that's going on in the workplace, right? When we live in a remote world, or we're learning how to collaborate, and then now that more or less the form of collaboration is for a hybrid situation where you could come into work and not have to. But we are built and designed as human beings to communicate and engage and have a partner. So if you fully understand what that is all about in your DNA, then you should be able to take action to be able to understand that you got to be able to communicate and see different perspectives. And also, if you've been in a toxic work environment and you survived, then you've been seriously battle tested for future situations, because this is never going to end. But what I want to address is mental health and wellness, which affects you every day. And with society, with the administration going on, with the cost of living and everything else, we have enough stress going on right now to last a lifetime. But if you're not seeking help, or you're too proud to be able to seek help, then that's okay. That's on you. It's your life. You live it. You own it. You die with it. But as an advocate for veterans' rights and a leader, and I've been in management for over 30 something years, I can see a couple of things. In order to be a manager, you're going to have to learn how to manage yourself. That's the first thing. In order to be a leader, you're going to have to lead yourself to be successful, so people want to follow you. In order for you to communicate with yourself and understand that you're clear about what you're communicating. Those are the key factors of building a great relationship with yourself, that people can see a reflection of you, that can really understand what you're all about, and can see the transparency and the credibility of what you bring to the table. As I stated before, when people are applying for work and they're going through recruiters, they're going through this ATS system, right? People look at their resume. I tell people, recruiters, resume is just a calling card, but my resume is not my work. There's a whole lot of story behind my resume. And then what happens is, we live in such a virtual world. It's very disheartening and it's very disappointing when people are looking for work overall and seeking what they own and value. I think that people are looking for what they're worth, right? Why should you be so thirsty to be underpaid for something that you've worked so hard for? If you got a degree, if you have so many years of experience, if you have a subject matter experience, some employers will definitely more or less undercut you because they want to save costs. For what? Get paid for what you work. A fair day's work for a fair day's pay, right? And the other thing is this, when you're going through a serious situation with, a toxic workplace, document it. right? Document it. If it is good to document it, because then you know you have it. But let me share this with you. If it's not on paper, it's not real. You can verbalize it all you want, but if you don't have any form of documentation to support your cause, or to have some trackability to see if there's some kind of unwanted behavior that could be a course of action that could be corrected or not, then shame on you. People need to protect themselves at all times. It's just like boxing. Keep your hands up at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to rescue you. Nobody's going to lead you into anything else. It's all on you. If you're capable of getting up in the morning, brushing your teeth, and making the choice to go out and do something, you have a choice to protect yourself as well. Some people don't have the courage to step up to it and protect themselves because they feel that they're not worthy enough, or they don't know how to. I think that they need to seek mentorship as much as possible to be aligned with others that can teach them and help them become successful. That's why I stress more or less the importance of mental health. And I need to stress that, right, as responsible individuals in this platform, you need to be able to reach out to people and network. Some people are just have underlying issues. They present themselves with very shallow perceptions based on their profile. But then again, right, your profile is not who you are. It says who you are. But then again, it gives an opportunity like myself to be able to be transparent and be subjective to, criticism or wokeness or whatever the case may be, or retaliation, to be able to do that. But you know what? I'm cool with it because I know who I am at the end of the day. I know what I'm capable of doing. I know what I'm capable of saying. I know what I'm capable of thinking. I know what I bring to the table. I know where my weaknesses are, and I know where my strengths are. But at the same time, we want people like yourself to understand it's okay to be not okay. It's okay to talk about it. Always talk to someone that is willing to listen and keep that conversation between you and that person. Because sometimes when you're talking to the wrong person, they utilize that ammunition and exploit it and spread it as gossip, false truths, right? So you need to put your work in. And like I stated before, faith without works is dead, right? If you don't put any faith in your work, it's dead no matter what. And as myself, I believe that as a spiritual man, as a Christian as well, that I put in a lot of faith in spite of everything that's going on. I'll give you another analogy. This problem could be a big problem, and you could have a small God, right? How you look at it. Big problem, small God, like Greg Laurie would say. Or you can look at it this way. Small problem, big God. God oversees everything. What I've learned is to put more faith in everything that's possible. And I believe that my take in this is more or less that by me giving back to society and giving, I plan to go in one direction and one direction only. That's it. I'm not selling my soul. I'm not doing this, none of this stuff that, what it is. I believe in going up that way. That's my exit plan, going up. How do I do that? By helping people like you. Me helping you, help me help you, right? It helps me to understand that I could do something, that I could bring something of significant value to you as well. Some people will always criticize on what you are all about. Accept the fact that that is the reality of society. Accept the fact that people will never like you, will never accept you, will look for reasons, right, to destroy you. But in life, there's reasons and results. You can't have both. So I want to be able to explain that to you. Reasons and results, you can't have both. And it's important to document and reflect and read what your feelings is, because we have these feelings inside of us. But when we don't put it on paper and we verbalize and we emotionally vomit sometimes to the wrong person, we don't realize what we're talking about. It just feels good to talk about it. That's why you have therapists, psychotherapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, marriage counselors, priests, fellowship. You have people that can really help you give a perspective, and then that gives you a different perspective of seeking counsel with other people. So that's why you need to utilize the resources as possible, because I believe in putting content as much as possible, but I want to put the right content that leaves you with wanting more. And this is why I created this show for over a year ago, to be able to bring real life scenarios, uncommercialized, unsponsored like, and to be able to reach out to you, allow you to be able to collaborate with no form of retaliation or being ridiculed or ostracized from anything else. I believe that by you taking the first step of not suffering in silence allows you to have freedom. Like Jocko Williams says, right? Motivation is great. Goggins says motivation is great, but disciplining yourself equals freedom. The form of disciplining yourself to fight through whatever challenges you are gives you the freedom to do whatever the hell you need to do, because it's your life. With everything that's going on right now, and I can share this, as we speak, the 82nd Airborne, Fort Hood, Fort Bliss are being deployed to Poland, because stuff is going to get ugly here pretty soon. If they haven't mentioned it in the news, I already know from reliable sources. Special forces, special ops, they're deployed to Poland. That's the staging point for something that's not going to look pretty. And it has to do with one dude, 2 words, Putin. That's a dude that's out to lunch, that's got some serious anger issues, and pretty much is with all due respect, our 2022 version of Hitler. So what is that doing? It's causing a lot of mental health. And I believe that a lot of people are in distress, right? So let me see what Susan says. So Susan, thank you. I believe that the only way of my situation was to quit, but we would leave 7 staff members with a narcissist. I attempted to report him, but without any form of help. That's what you say is called quiet firing and quiet quitting. No problem, Susan. I appreciate it. So in toxic workplaces, well, let me finish this thing. So we have a big agenda overseas. People don't understand that. So recruiting is down, everything else. Now let me get back to this. Toxic workplaces is quiet quitting and quiet firing. Just look it up. That's a new way of dealing with the workplace. That's a new way of dealing with narcissistic people, nepotism, minion-driven, gaslighting individuals. I'm saying that because as a disabled veteran, as somebody that's been on both sides of the spectrum, private sector and federal, I see it all the time. But I believe that it's my duty and the opportunity to share with you that you're not alone. You shouldn't be ashamed about how you're feeling, and you should not be ashamed of what you're going through. But if you don't take responsibility for your own actions and take actions, shame on you. What you allow, you'll tolerate. What you allow, you'll tolerate. Right? You'll tolerate it because you feel like you're trapped. But I can tell you this much. At the end of the day, when you're on your deathbed, you're going to go back through your life before you exit out. You're going to wish you kicked some ass somehow, some way. You should never be at the mercy of somebody. You should never be at the knees of somebody else's mercy. And you should be on your feet fighting for your life until the very end. And that's why I wanted to make sure to reach out to you, that in spite of everything that I've been going through, right? And I won't elaborate, because that's still in talks, is that sometimes other places are not good for you. And sometimes you're going to have to step up and stop being comfortable with yourself and start taking action because you don't want to be left behind or or allow people to put you in a bad situation that you're going to regret because you never took action. And that's why with everything that's people liking on posts and I like this, I like that, I support this. Social media can be very fickle in a lot of ways. But when we're talking about this particular subject, this subject right here, mental illness, mental health, and well-being, that's got to be priority. That's why you have sick leave, you have a healthcare provider. That's why you have more or less HIPAA to protect your medical privacy. And that's why you have things called medical leave, annual leave, FMLA leave, right, to protect you. And then you have an opportunity to seek counsel to protect yourself. Trust me, nobody's out there to protect you but yourself. You will be surprised who's going to be in your corner. You will be surprised who will flip on you. And you'll be surprised who the people that won't do anything for you. All these dynamics will come in from when it's least expected. And that's why I'm addressing this concern to you tonight as you're enjoying this, get an itch, holiday weekend, Halloween weekend. Everybody's out there enjoying themselves and everything else. But guess what? Enjoy yourself as much as possible. But if you don't take any priority in taking care of you, you're the one that should be taking care of yourself. Nobody else is going to take care of you. And I believe that you need to understand that. I need to convey that to you. I've been through too many battles and too many wars to even begin where I've seen and what I've experienced. But I'm here today to explain to you and share with you that I'm not perfect. I'm not the smartest person. I'm not the gifted person, but I'm one that will not quit. But I'll be able to explain my concerns and share and give back to people like yourselves. I think I owe it to you. I owe it to you, people that we've connected. I've created great relationships, and I've been very transparent as well. Transparency is the biggest thing. I think that somebody's worth of their character is worth than any dollar amount there is. My character is not for sale. It's not. I might as well be broke and just live the way it is. But I want to be able to share this with you tonight, to let you know and let it sink in that when you're alone and you're going through some crisis and you're going through some stressors that are triggering you, that could be from a toxic workplace, that's affecting your mental health, that's affecting your well-being, that's causing you to question your capabilities of being successful. You're second guessing yourself of what you can bring to the table. You're not alone. It gives you an opportunity to able to voice your opinion because we all deal with professional cowards, keyboard cowards, people that are passive aggressive, that choose not to be who they want to be and play victim. So if you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective, share it, like it, tag it, make some comments. If you like this, I have it on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, LinkedIn Perspective. And also, I'll be doing some other things as well. But the biggest thing that I want to focus at the end of 2022, that hasn't been a great year for me, is that mental health is a big issue. It's a crisis. And as we're wrapping up to 2022 into 2023, let's look back and say that we need all have a different perspective to come into this world, the new year, not into this world, but into the new year with an agenda, living your life on purpose, right? Living your life on purpose is the most important thing. And I think that, not think, but I know that sometimes people have a hard time being transparent because it's a sign of weakness. It's not. It's just an opportunity to save face and save your character. So with that being said, thank you very much. I don't want to take too much of your time. You like this, if you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective, share it, like it, tag it. You know, you make your comments. If you like it, I'm all open for it. If you don't like what I brought to the table, I'm there too. I'm always looking for feedback. I'm not afraid of it. I'm cool with that. But the biggest thing is what I'm saying is let's address the elephant in the room, right? That's the biggest thing that we need to do. So enjoy your Saturday night, right? And what do I got here? Yes, Purpose-Driven Life. It says the Purpose-Driven Life. There's a book. Yep, check it out. And remember, I could do all things through Jesus Christ who strengthens me. I could do that. So if you want to make a purpose of being a good person, being a steward of your own game, you know, take action. You know, take action. Don't let life kick your ass. Nah, it's not gonna happen. Like I stated before, I had a severe nightmare. I decided I'm not gonna live like that anymore. I decided that I'm not gonna stress. I'm not gonna stress on this. I decided that I'm gonna kick ass and take names, and I'm gonna handle it. I don't really care. It's my life. But I want to give something back to you that money can't buy. It's a voice, advice, counsel, and an opportunity for you to voice your opinion. Money can't buy that. If it gives you peace of mind, money can't buy that either. Right? You're looking for peace of mind. Reach out to people that are smarter than you, that value you, and more or less that can appreciate you and that can bring out the best in you. That's what I got to say. So simplify, always beside you. Again, if you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective, share it, like it, tag it, and appreciate it.